No one has the balls to stand up like I'm doing right now. Stop the crap already. We're all Americans. We're all equal. I don't see black. I don't see Asian. I don't see anything but American. Hey, welcome to Bo Dietl's One Tough Podcast. Yeah, I've done a lot of these podcasts. I think we probably got about 160 in the can, but today I'm real excited. I got with me somebody I really admire, and he's differently politically than me, but then again, not really. Of course, his father I really loved, and his brother Andrew, and I love him, and I feel like they're part of my family too. They come from Queens, and it's my friend from NewsNation, Chris Cuomo, formerly of Communist News Network. Is that what they used to call it?
Never, not me. That's what you call it.
CNN. Chris, welcome to Bo Dietl's One Tough Podcast. I'm really excited about you coming on. Thank you very much. I know how busy you are.
Hey, Bo, anything for you, whenever you ask. And also, let me just...
Hey, I love you. You know that.
You're a good man. You've been straight with me since I first got into the business. And I'm happy that you're getting the attention you deserve.
Well, you know what it is? I will never run for politics because what happened when I tried to run.
I told you.
And a lot of people don't know really what happened. And first of all, when I ran for politics, Ken Langone from Home Depot, NYU, and Steve Cohen, New York Met owner, they came to me and they said, Bo, you got to run against this de Blasio. He's destroying. I says, look, okay. They go, one condition, you got to run as a Democrat. I says, first of all, I'm an independent, really. I'm a registered Republican. All my Italian relatives from Ozone Park were all Italian Democrats, the Italians from the other side. And my mom's from the other side, from Catania, Sicily. So basically, I said, that's not a problem. So now when I run, I get the application and I take my Republican, I cross it out, I check Democrat, I check independent, because I figured I'd run on a law and order thing or some crap like that. I call up, all of a sudden, David Goodman from the New York Times calls me and said, Bo, you're not on any line. I called the head of the Board of Election. I said, what's up? Oh, well, you made a mistake. You checked two boxes. You shouldn't have checked the independent box, too. I says, oh, I made a mistake. He goes, oh, it's happened many times. We'll send you an affidavit. You get it notarized. We'll put you right on the Democratic line. And I could have really beat up Bill de Blasio. He wasn't afraid of Malatakis. He was afraid of me because you know me. I'll go right at his throat.
True.
So basically, a month goes by. He goes, okay, I did it. I sent it back. Now it's December before election day the next year. I call up the guy from the Board of Elections, put in there by Big Bird de Blasio, and he goes, well, Bo, I got bad news for you. I said, well, what's the bad news? He goes, well, we had a meeting. I'm sorry to say you're not going to have any line as mayor. I said, you're freaking, I cursed. I did curse. I said, are you kidding me? So then I hired this guy, Marty Connors from Brooklyn. He was a state senator, election lawyer, attorney. I say, hey, Marty, I got to hire you. He goes, yeah. Oh, I've handled these before. Send me $40,000. I'll be your lawyer. Okay, ding, ding, ding. First thing, we go to Supreme Court. I'll never forget, Chris. I walked in. I had my Howard Klein handle, my nice Jewish attorney, dear friend of mine too. We walk in. I goes, oh, we got a problem. The judge. So help me God, not because she was black. And I tell the truth. She looked just like Charlene de Blasio. Not because she was black. So I made that statement to my lawyer, and I admitted it to people saying, you said the judge looked like, that's a racist comment. I said, no racist comment. Look at a picture. That'd be like if I walked into a divorce court and the judge looks like my ex-wife. I'd say, I got a problem. Look at the judge. Looks like my ex-wife. That's how I meant it, because everybody likes to twist it. Makes a long story short, no hearing. Mr. Dietl, I've looked at your case. I got bad news for you. We're deciding against you. You don't have a line in this mayor election. I said, you got to be kidding. Appellate court? Well, who do you think was in my court? Bill de Blasio's general counsel with two lawyers in my court. I mean, talk about cock blocking. That was cock blocking. Go to appellate court, court of appeals. Chris, it was the worst feeling in the world. All I wanted to do was have an opportunity to run for mayor. One reason, I love this city. And I don't care about Democrats or Republicans. That's not what it's about. I was listening to Senate confirmation, and my friend Pam Bondi's running for the Attorney General, who I know very well, great. And she goes, look, I don't want to be an Attorney General as a Democrat or Republican, for the people and the Constitution of the United States. This is what it's all about. And we have to take the party politics and throw them to the garbage. We got bad problems in New York City. I mean, what's your feelings about what's going on with Eric Adams in New York? Now, I'm going to give you a little preface here. I supported Eric, had fundraisers for him. He was my guy. I'm totally against him. What he's done in this city is horrific. What's your feelings on it?
So, with the caveat that obviously I know what everybody knows, which is my brother's name is in the mix. I don't know what he's going to do. You know how to get him on the phone. Yeah. He can speak for himself. So obviously,
I talked to your brother the other day.
I know. But so Andrew can speak for himself and what he's going to do or not do. Mayor Adams, for my own perspective on my show, I have been openly supportive of two things. One, I need to know the days of believing that you're being investigated, you must have done it, are over. The days of, well, you've been indicted, you must have done it, are over. So when I hear these allegations about Mayor Adams, I kept making the point, I need to see the case. And people felt that I was showing preference to him as a Democrat. Well, there's one Democrat that I vote for, and it's someone named Cuomo. Other than that, I'm an independent. The two-party system.
That's what I like to be called, an independent.
Look, I mean, I am an independent. I have been for a long time. They said, well, no, you're a Democrat. No, my brother's a Democrat. My father was a Democrat. I love them. I would vote for them for anything
Of course,
ever.
that's our people.
I'll back them forever. Not the party, not the Republican Party. The Republican Party I married into with my wife 25 years, that party doesn't exist anymore. My father's Democratic Party, that doesn't exist anymore. Those two parties are all about tearing us apart for their own advantage. Adams, I got to see the proof.
All right.
Okay? The allegations aren't enough. How do I feel about the city? 60% of it is perception. People have been told it's bad, it's scary, play with the crime metrics. 40% is we've lost our mojo in this city. And to me, it used to be when we were coming up, something happens on the subway, people are going to step up and get involved.
Right.
Like Daniel Penny. Okay.
I had him at Compiola the other night. I bought him dinner the other night, him and his girlfriend. And the guy it was close.
Real close.
Real close.
But people used to get up, and I'm not saying that someone should die. Obviously, we don't want that.
No.
But now people are afraid. They stay away. Somebody says the music is too loud. They get stabbed in the chest. Where are the cops? Cops are afraid to do their job. They do their job. Nobody prosecutes. There is insecurity in this city. You see it in the property values. You see it in people on the street. I take the subway. I feel it. And I love the city. It doesn't feel like the 70s yet. You know, people forget, New York City used to be something. I
was there in the 70s.
Yeah, no, you were keeping us safe then.
I was one of the original decoys where I was mugged 500 times. And I had hospital. But one big difference, and this is what everyone's missing, until we changed the bail reform, your brother made a mistake, and he recognized it, and it takes a big man to say, you know what? I made a mistake. This was a bad deal. Because right now, you can put all the cops you want out there, but if you're going to arrest them and they're getting out and committing crimes over and over, you know yourself, it ain't working, Chris.
Judge has to have discretion.
What was your percentage?
Here, 60-40. 60% is there's a lot of talk that it's bad. People then believe
I would go 20-80. That it's not perception, it's real for the fact that I deal with it every day.
Yeah.
I have two sons, I have a daughter, my granddaughter. Everybody's here in New York. I'm scared stiff. My son has dinner with me at a restaurant. I take the subway. He's living over in Brooklyn, Williamsburg, where all the kids are living now, right? I says, here, I give him $100. I say, you take a friggin' Uber. Do not go on that subway. I'm scared. I carry a gun,
I can't
Chris,
fault you.
And I'm going to tell you something. I worry about your kids, everybody who's around here, because out there right now, especially with the inserting of all these, look, my family's immigrants, my mother and father. I'm for people here to get the American dream, but I'm not for the criminal element that are being arrested. I grabbed Hochul at a fundraiser. I gave her $5,000. I said, her husband was there, very nice guy, former AUSA. I said, why don't you put an executive order? Anybody who's illegal in this country arrested on a felony, turn it over to ICE. You could do that without the backing of this liberal state senate or a state assembly. Also, the morons that we have in the city council, total, when they tell you can't get a guy in a headlock. I never killed anybody on the job. I was hospitalized 30 times, stabbed, shot at, everything. my point is you don't die from a headlock. You know how to wrestle. It's not a chokehold, but yet they don't differentiate. If a cop puts a headlock on somebody, they'll tell the perpetrator committed the crime, he got you by the neck, right? They'll drop the charges. They'll go after the cop. You're not getting any recruitment, Chris. Scared, stiff. No recruitment. We used to get 20,000 applicants. Now they got about 6,000. Now the mayor says he's going to put 1,600 new cops. Where are you going to get them, Mr. Mayor? And they're all retiring. These great detectives that we have are all leaving. The ones that investigate and all that. I'm scared, stiff of this city.
Look, fear is a disease, right? The basis of the fear becomes irrelevant because the fear winds up driving the entire mood. And there is a perception of bad problems. And Adams is the man in charge. Just like out in California, when you're in charge, you got to own the status quo. It's why the Democrats lost the election. Well, not only did they not read the country right, but they owned the status quo and people were unhappy with it. The question is, how do you change the city? Congestion pricing was not the solution for the city. It's not like they need more money. They don't manage money.
Hold on. When you got an MTA that by next year is going to be $60 billion in debt, and it continues mismanagement and the jerk.
It's mismanagement. It's not needing more money. You got to use the money you have well. Look, Andrew is called the mechanic by everybody who knows him for a reason. Two reasons. One, he's a master mechanic. The man can fix anything. He listens to your car. He listens to your suspension. He tells you what it is. It's an amazing gift that he's always had. You can argue about, is Andrew a glad hander? Everybody loves him. Everybody thinks he's their best friend. No, it's not who Andrew is. If Andrew loves you and cares about you, you know. If Andrew doesn't care about you, if you're not his friend, you know. But he can fix. You put him in with a problem, he fixes it.
But he's also a tough guy that will go after the city council if he decides to run for mayor. He's a fighter like I am and you are.
That's why he has problems with parts of his party, to be honest.
And the biggest point here is because people say, oh, your friend Andrew, blah, 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 with the bail reform. But if he could step up and own it and said, I made a mistake, I never realized the results of this bail reform. All you got to do is, somebody who's a bad person, got to repent. He repents. I think he gets checked right on the box.
I would agree with you as a human being and how I conduct myself and how you conduct yourself. In politics, your friend Mr. Trump is right about this. You apologize, you're a dead man. So it's an interesting fix to be in. Is bail reform working the way it was supposed to? No. Is the prosecutorial environment the way it's supposed to be? No. And it has to change. Now, I don't know if that's what Andrew is going to want to be a part of, is this election that's coming up. But the need for change is clear.
And when you have judges that have the right, they're the only ones that have the right to turn over illegal criminal, I keep prefacing that. These judges have the right to turn them over to ICE. And I don't know. I had dinner with one of the greatest judges at my Christmas party, Edwin Torres. Remember the name?
Yeah, sure.
They called him the hanging judge, Puerto Rican judge for East Harlem. 95 years old. He was the boxing greatest guy in the world. And he was at my Christmas party with Nick Pileggi. I adore people who are older, in their 90s and above, and their knowledge, no matter how much we think we know. That's why the Chinese are good in one thing. They look upon their elders as being the wisdom and the wise men. And I agree. No matter what you did, I did. The guy who's 90 years old was there before me. So no matter what I could say. So basically, he just says it's unbelievable what he's seen this city turning. Going back to Eric Adams now.
Yeah.
Here, when you said, again, you want to see the goods. All right, the goods, Ingrid Martin, who I knew. Sheena Wright, I knew. Philip Banks III, David Banks, Edward Caban, my friend, Timothy Pearson, Winnie Greco, Muhammad, whatever his name is, on and on. Every one of the mayor's lieutenants have left. Did you ever say to yourself, why did they leave? Also, there was a little...
Maybe they were afraid of getting hooked up in the system or a situation that they don't deserve to be, and they want to get out before that happens.
Well, I think something's rumbling, and I think they left on the direction of Eric. You know why? When the shit hits the fan, which is going to hit, there's going to be a superseding indictment. Mark my words. Just think about one thing. There was a security contract in New York City since this migrant thing. I think it's up near $1.3 billion. No bid contract. I'm laughing because it's so friggin' obvious, Chris, what's coming down. What's coming down to the pike is all the corruption. Probably the biggest corruption scandal hitting this New York City that we've ever seen.
Well, we already know that investigatively, we've never seen it go as high as the investigation has gone with this in New York NYPD history.
How strong could it be when the FBI goes to a sitting mayor and grabs his friggin' cell phone out of the You've got to have some good shit to
I
do
look
that.
at it. I look at it two ways. Okay, I agree with you, unless we have reached a point in how we conduct things where they go 100 miles an hour when it's not justified. Whether you want to talk about what happened at Mar-a-Lago or what happened with P. Diddy, they bust into places all the time now. I was surprised when they did that to a sitting mayor of a city like New York. But again, why am I being more circumspect than you? Because I don't want to get burned again by saying, well, look, they're going this hard and heavy. They must have something.
Yeah.
Because look, you tell me to resign, heat's coming. It's not like they're not going to find me. It's not like that they're not going to scoop me up anyway.
Why do all these people resign?
I don't know. I mean, only he knows.
Come on, Chris, with this.
Look, I could speculate.
But hold on a second. Do you know what the numbers are? Here's my thing. If I'm a detective or a U.S. attorney, investigator, whatever, follow the money. Go after the companies that got the no-bid contracts, see where that money went. And when you and there was a company that was involved out of Texas. And just put it this way. Look at me, and you know me a lot of years. There is more heavy shit to come, and I mean serious. I'm talking about kickbacks and all that, and I'm saying it right now.
Then where is it? Because let me tell you something. They're not doing the people of New York City any favor. I don't have to tell you this. I mean, as you guys all know, Bo has a lot of investigative history.
Yeah.
But, and I know it takes time, and I know you want to do it right. I get it. But there are political implications with what they do, whether it's Trump, whether it's Biden, whether it's now with Mayor Adams, and the delay doesn't help us. If they have stuff, if there's going to be a superseding indictment, then let's see it.
Yeah, but the only thing is I hate when you have an investigation and you go half-cocked. You got to have it complete. And it's very simple. And again, I could tell the U.S. attorney how to do it. I mean, you just follow the money. And
but hold on, Bo. Based on what you're saying right now, what they've come after Adams for so far,
nothing. Garbage.
But that's why I take pause.
Right.
You know what I mean? People think, oh, you're going to throw Adams under the bus because maybe your brother's going to run. That's not how we are.
When the shoe falls down on the next one, then you'll say, you know what? Bo was right, because I'm going to tell you I am right.
I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm just saying I'll follow the facts. You know, let it come out.
When you have all these, what was the mayor's when he was a state senator, what was his famous statement in the front of the state senate when they were looking for raises for the state senators? Show me the money. And that resonates in my head. He does dress pretty nice for a guy that's making less than $300,000. Listen to me. I got crocodile shoes. I got shank shirts, a custom $5,000. I make a lot of money. Where the hell does he get that money from? You tell me.
I don't know. But just because I don't know doesn't mean that the answer is a bad answer. I'm just saying, here's what I've learned in this business 25 years.
Yeah.
If you follow the facts, it'll all make sense. And an indictment is not the facts. It's a set of allegations. So we'll see if they can bring it up. I do not like seeing a public official like Eric Adams, who all the dealings I've had with him, he seems like a good guy, good reputation. Now that reputation is getting torn down. Everyone around him is going down in a way we've never seen before. And it better be real. That's all I'll say. Because otherwise, how do you ever repair what you've done to this guy?
All I want to know is the answer to a question. $1.3 billion in security contracts for the migrant centers. What was the billing? Why was it so high? And why wasn't there any bids, RFPs?
The bids are a problem.
And who got it? And where'd the money go? Follow the money. That's just one part of it. Then you have the whole apartment stuff, where apartments were SROs, $500 an apartment here, there. Chris, you're a smart man.
Look, I'm not saying there's no smoke.
All right.
I read the indictments.
Let's talk about good things now, because I'm in a really great place. I'm going down to Washington, staying at this rip-off Willard Hotel, $3,500 a night, 4 night, minimum $16,000 to stay in a hotel. They jack it up. I'm in a really good place watching Donald Trump. Now, look, I know him 40 years. Sometimes he's a bit of a narcissist. We know all about it. But to me, he has become my friggin' superhero, what he's gone through with all these prosecutions, and some of them are such bull crap, and he just keeps going. And the energy he has, and like you just said in the beginning, guy took a shot at him. Somebody else would have said, hey, look, I'm a billionaire. I don't want to play this game. The guy fight is the reasons why I support him so much now. No matter what he did, he's a little, sometimes he's a little cockatacious, but that's Donald Trump. I've gone at it with him. I've actually told him I was going to smack him in the head. I've gone at him with him. Not when he's the president. Of course, I would never do that. I love Donald Trump. And I had my questions about him. But after this last year, what he went through and what has happened, I am a Trump sucker. That's all I could tell you. And I just pray to God that he has the energy and to help us. But it's a nice feeling. I just talked to somebody on the phone, real liberal Democrat guy, and he goes, Bo, I'm getting a feeling about real positiveness in the country where everybody's head's not down. With all respect to President Biden, they should have pulled the plug a long time ago. And if I was a Democrat, I would have been pissed off that I couldn't have had a primary and run some really good Democratic people. Why we put this nincompoop, Kamala Harris, which really was totally not qualified. That is a Democrat, which I'm not, but my Democratic friends should have been outraged how they stuffed Biden down their throat. Did that bother you as an American? Forget about Democrat, Republican.
Well, look, as a journalist, here's how I saw it. Biden said he was going to be a one-term president.
Yeah.
He should have stuck with it. Mm-hmm. The party capitulated to him. They can rationalize that. It's fine. But they wound up looking like what they say they oppose, which was anti-democratic. Yes, a party is a club. It's not an institution of government.
Yeah.
But still, they played by what seemed like rigged rules. And I know technically they were allowed to do it, but it was a bad look, and they wound up in a bad place, and they paid the price for it. Trump. I don't remember a time in my life when I didn't know him. Our mothers went to the same beauty parlor. He has had different relationships with my father and brother whenever he was getting what he wanted versus when he wasn't getting what he wanted. I have real issues with how he campaigns and how he leads that I think are worthy of criticism. But I'll tell you what's not worthy of criticism. Two things. This guy has shown really exceptional resilience. I said to you before we started, if someone shot at me, and I don't want to hear about glass from a teleprompter or anything, whatever, you shoot at me and it hits the wall 10 feet away, let alone hitting my head.
At 3,000 foot per second.
You never see me again. You don't know where I am. I'm hiding. I take my family. I go run for office, let alone standing up and pumping my fist. I respect that. I don't have to respect other things because I respect that. Second thing is, I want him to do well. I want good things for the country.
And for our kids.
I want him to figure out ways that makes Congress do things, compromise, be pissed off about it, that you don't like the deal you had to make, but you made deals that help other people. I want that. Why that bothers people is the root of our problem. I'm not saying I want Trump on Rushmore. I'm not saying I like Trump. I'm a journalist. We don't say things like that. But why is it wrong for me to want good things for the country? Why would I want the guy who is the duly elected president of the United States to fail? Because I want to help one of the parties. And that's what's killing us.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you want to know something that comes to mind is probably, I think, was our best mayor we ever had, was who I know very well, Mike Bloomberg, was another great person, politician, because you got to remember something. When you look at, and I don't mean to go jumping because you have the Republicans, the same crap. They go into office, they're making $200,000 a year, like Pelosi. Now she's worth $300 million. They're able to buy stocks. That they should totally be alienated from buying stocks when they have inside information. If you or I did it, if I told you some inside information, they'd lock you and me up. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of the problem. There is a kind of a deep state. They don't want someone taking the scab off what's going on in Washington. I'm not saying this as a Trump person. I'm talking about as an American. It seems as though they have their own little thing down there where they don't want an invasion by a Trump. pulling that scab off. I love this Elon Musk. I don't care. In my lifetime, I saw Flash Gordon where a rocket goes up and then lands backwards. This guy is remarkable. And I'll say it here. Don't count. He can't be the president of the United States because he wasn't born here, but he's remarkable. And I think a lot of his initiatives, AI is something you don't mess with. Now, right now, I've lost a lot of friends with cancer, brain cancers, especially brain cancers are very prevalent. And I think it has to do with these stupid cell phones. But now with the AI operating on these cancers, they can really, really get medical things that we've never dreamt of. And that's why I'm so supportive of it, because I've lost so many friends with illness, and I'm hoping his initiative, he's so smart, this Elon Musk, take that intelligence and help people medically and help everybody. I like people to understand something. Through strength, then you get respect. If people don't respect you, they'll walk all over us. And I think that's something that I have a feeling that we're getting again.
So don't sell yourself short.
I'm a big Clinton guy. I thought Clinton was a great president.
Bill Clinton was an extraordinary.
He was able to take that, Bill Clinton, and he had his own little downers, but he liked the little things going on there. But Bill Clinton, I'll vote for tomorrow, Bill Clinton. I mean, he was a great president.
I mean, look, retrospect is a beautiful device,
Yeah.
right? People who you condemn in the moment, in time, wind up looking pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, look, when I was watching and covering President George W. Bush.
That's one?
Bush the second.
Oh, that's Fredo.
Yes.
That's what I call Fredo.
That's who you call that.
Yeah. Not you.
Not me.
Him. Yeah.
He, at the time, I was like, I've never heard somebody be so inarticulate at the highest office.
Yeah, me, I would.
We'll probably never see this again. And then he now sounds like a Rhodes Scholar compared to the level of dialogue. So often with retrospect, it winds up looking a little different. To me, you're right about the culture problems. Look, that's what the election was about. Okay. Here's the problem we have, and I don't know what to do about it. But I am covering it, and I think about it all the time. And I'm lucky that NewsNation allows me to do something I've never done before, which is to tell people why I'm saying what I'm saying. Like when people ask me about Trump, I said, look, I'll tell you what my problem with Trump is. It's not his politics. He said that I was an enemy of the state, essentially. It caused my kids trouble, caused my wife trouble.
We should never bring families in.
And I told him at the time, enough with the enemy of the state thing, because you don't like what I'm saying. You can go do it about Avila or whatever you want to do. Don't do it about me. And the answer was, well, be nice and then it'll change. That's not how I work. I treat everybody. I mean, look, you've known me most of my life.
Yeah.
You get treated fairly and decently because that's what I'm about. And that's my beef. I'm still fair to him. People say I've been red-pilled, that I'm a Trumper or whatever it is, because I'm fair to him. The problem is not the fairness. The problem is that they see fairness as weakness. You are tough. You are a tough guy. You are also something else, which has to be present with the toughness in America. We are not about bullies or harshness. We are sweet strength. You got to have heart and balls.
Well, I'm just glad. I'm going to whisper in the president's ear that Chris Cuomo sends his love and respect to you when I see him on Saturday.
I told him himself when he got shot. Did you see all the shit I got? Excuse my language. Did you see all the stuff I got for this?
Show.
Here's what happened. He gets shot in the head.
Yeah.
I start seeing all of these theories that it's the teleprompter. It was faked. It was this. It was a setup. It didn't happen. And I'm like, this is crazy. So I call a member of the family, say, I just want to tell him, I'm sorry that it's being covered like this.
Yeah.
I feel for your family. I don't know what his sons, his daughters, his grandkids.
What would you tell you? What would you tell your father? What would you tell Mario?
Get out.
Dad, get the hell out.
Get out. 100%. So I said to him, I just want to say, I'm not asking you for anything. I'm not endorsing you or anything like that. That's not my place. I'm sorry about this. I feel for your family. I hope you're okay. I was blown away by your ability to deal with that situation.
Unbelievable.
That's it. He said, how's your mother? Say hello to the governor. Say hello to everybody. I said, good luck to you going forward. All of a sudden, I'm red-pilled.
Right.
I'm a bad guy. I'm not a real
Because you're not
journalist.
conforming with the other side.
But what happened to decency?
Right.
You
And
can
Wayne-
disagree with everything about the guy. I don't want him shot in the head.
So I am a stand-up guy. I weigh things out. Like you, I love you because I see what kind of a man you are. You're not full of crap. You're a man's man, tough guy, which I like. But also your opinions are weighing things out and right and wrong. But you're able to walk down that road and make your own decisions. You don't have to be told by NewsNation or CNN how you have to talk and what you have to believe. I will not be captivated by any of that bullshit, and I will not do it. I just won't do it. I'm my own person. Would I run for mayor again? Never in the world. Ever, ever, ever. Front page of the New York Daily News on Easter Sunday. Front page, Bo Dietl's pitch when I was running for mayor. Bo owes $488K. What happened was I disputed 2006 that I was not in the city. I was out of the city. I was in Italy. I had my own jet. I was flying all over. I had the day's document. They fought me on $100,000 on the 4% for New York City residency. Finally, I'm running, and I said, "Oh shit, this is going to come up." So I call up the guy, and the guy was an Arab American. He didn't like some of my comments when I was on Imish's show. These are humor. Now humor is not politically correct, and you got to deal with that bullshit too. So I conform myself. I know I can't say certain things. So now all of a sudden, I go to the guy, look, I want to get rid of this thing. I really wasn't there, but I want to get this off my head here. I'm going to send you $250,000, which I sent. I'll give you $25,000 a month and get rid of it. Didn't say that in the news. The Daily News printed I owed $488,000. I asked for retractions. I asked for retractions for the news. And then the New York Post, the same people, put me in the New York Post as being 12 cops indicted for murder and racketeering. There was a small paragraph at the end. And then there was Bo Dietl in 1986 when he was New York City detective. He was seen giving information to Richard Gotti at a car wash. This was a statement from somebody who was on trial with John Gotti Jr., and he was the rat against him. First of all, in 1986, I was running for United States Congress for Joe Adabo's seat, the 6th Congressional. I wasn't a cop anymore. Total lie. And the Post, I told him, how could you put I was a New York detective in 86? I retired February 14, 1985. I says, that's a damn lie. I want a retraction. I'm a guy. You don't lie about me. I tell you what, and I'm still a physical guy. And if I have to take a call, I'll take it to Manhattan. First of all, there's no bail, so I can punch people out. There'll be no bail anyway. So if I got to go down, I'll punch somebody in Manhattan. So if I got a beef with somebody, I'll say, come to Manhattan. Because I know. But this other broken down police DA, he'll prosecute Bo Dietl. You know that. So my whole point of the whole discussion is right and wrong. And I'm glad, but I just don't understand. Chris Cuomo has to be bigger than NewsNation is a great spot, but you got to be bigger. You got too much, man. I got to listen to these squeebles getting their jackets taken in from the back on ABC News because he wants to look like a stud. I mean, but you're a real guy. You should be ahead of one of the major 3 networks as the lead guy at 7 o'clock and talk about everything because you're a real rounded person. Tough guy. If I owned Fox News, if I owned CBS, ABC, I'd have you as my lead guy at night. I mean, you got to be looking for more than that, Chris. You got so much.
No, I'm not. Listen, I appreciate it, but you're biased. We've known each other.
I'm biased because I love you.
Yeah, we've known each other a long time, and I appreciate it. And I'll answer your question, but I do want to tell them a story first. I'm working at ABC News, and I know Bo Dietl. Everybody knows Bo Dietl. And my producer goes to try to catch this guy at an airport. Bo Dietl is working the case. And he and his guys don't like that my producer is there with the camera.
He pushed me.
Yeah, right. So that's what you said.
Hold on. What he's talking about is the kid, Vandersloot, that murdered the
Joran
girls.
Vandersloot, the double murderer.
But John Kelly was the lawyer that was working.
So he is like keeping him safe. My producer goes to get video.
They make a deal.
One of the sweetest kids in the world.
Hold on, we could tell the whole story. They make a deal to bring in Vandersloot from Netherlands, and we know. So I put one of my guys on the plane to serve him right when he arrives, when he lands. Yeah. Everything's there. Now it took about 2.5 hours for him to get out of customs. Next thing is he's walking.
You were working with Holloway's mother.
Yeah.
Right.
And next thing is he's walking. He's a big kid, about 6'6", big kid.
Yeah, you're on Founderson.
Yeah. And he had his coat over his head. He looked like Dark fucking Vader.
Yeah.
So basically, he comes there. Your producer walks up to me. I'm ready to serve him.
Yeah.
Reserve him again. We served him once.
Yeah.
And I go to serve him, and he pushed me. I pushed him. I knocked him on his ass.
I knocked him on his ass.
His shoes slipped.
Oh, there's no question. That happened. So he manhandles and assaults my producer.
No,
That's what
hold
happened.
on. Let's back up. I use self-defense tactics.
He didn't touch him. I know this kid. The kid comes back to the studio. Now he's a man. He's married. He's got kids. He's a beautiful guy. And he loves this story. And
hey, one tough cop knocked him on his ass.
He's
like
upset.
a tough guy.
And he tells me the story. And the guy's name is Bo something. I said, Bo Dietl? And he goes, yeah. And I said, oh.
You called me.
I'll call him. So I call him in the office and I say, shut up. Let me just talk to him. Don't say anything. He says, okay. I said, Bo, you beat up my guy. And so Bo goes from 0 to 100 faster than a supercar, right? So he's like, that guy, that sack of potatoes, I barely put a hand on his feet flew up in the air like the Wicked Witch of the West. I've never seen anything like that. And this kid is sitting there and Bo is...
Well, did say to me, Bo, you got nothing against him, right? I think you wanted me to say that to
me. He was nervous. Yeah. And I said, Bo, you can't be manhandling this guy. Like, this is my guy. And Bo's like, I'll smack you around. You don't tell me what I do. I was like, oh, this is going the wrong way. And I was like,
you and I were going at it a little bit.
Yeah, Bo got upset that I was questioning him. I'll smack you in the side of your head. I said, Bo, I don't want any trouble. I'm just trying to say he's afraid now. He's all right. We're good. But you watch your mouth. I'll smack you. And I said, all right, Bo, I'll talk to you later. Thanks.
Well, listen, I followed him out to the car because, look, I investigated the girl, I believe, overdosed, and then he dumped her in the water, whatever it was, or strangled her, whatever he did. We never found the body. But I'm running out with him to the car, and I don't know if your guy was still there, and I'm going, hey, urine face. I says, here, why don't you put your big hands around my neck? I'm a little guy. You're 6'6". Come on, put your hands around my neck. I'm yelling at him, trying to provoke him to take a swing at me so I can knock him on his ass. But he was a pussy. He
is a cold-blooded killer.
Yeah, well, he killed the other girls in South America. Yeah. And I'm surprised someone killed him I'm
surprised he didn't get taken out there.
Well, if I was in a joint with him, and I'll say it out loud, if I was doing life and he's in life with me, Bo Dietl would put a sliff right in his gut.
Yeah, they must have kept him segregated.
Yeah, they have to.
Although if they want to get you, they get you. I mean, you were mentioning earlier, Gotti, even when he went to prison, somebody wanted to give him a beat and they gave it to him.
Yeah, well, you want to know something? Again, these were things that I have had a remarkable life, and part of my life, and I have so much respect for your dad, and I met your dad many, many times. I loved listening to your dad talk because I didn't go to college. I love to hear articulate people talk. I'm not the most articulate guy, but I have very good feelings and love and happiness, and the way I express myself is what I am. I would have liked to go to college. We couldn't afford it. All I want to be is gym teacher. I was the high bar champion, parallel bar, Marine Corps physical fitness team. We were #1 in the nation. All I want to be was a gym teacher. We had no money, so I go to work as a concrete laborer and an iron worker, and then I became a cop. I never wanted to be a cop. The only interaction I had was the Irish cop hit me with a nightstick in the park at night. I limped home. My father said, "What happened to you?" And I said, "Nothing. What happened to you?" I said, all I had to say the word cop. He beat me for the next hour. I learned one thing. Mr. Dietl, you don't ever tell him that a policeman stopped you or not. So then when I became a cop, because I was freezing my ass off on the World Trade Center as an iron worker, then all of a sudden I was in the academy. I saw a guy coming up a fire escape. He wasn't a fireman. I run off the roof. I chase him 5 blocks, get him in a headlock, not a chokehold, punch him a couple of times. He had 2 diamond rings. He robbed the apartment. It was like an epiphany. And that was my whole life of helping people. And I only was on 15 years because I broke my legs in half, parachuting with a couple of Arab Abadabadoo princes. I used to have a bodyguard company. It's a whole long story. But they wouldn't let me come back full duty. Then Nick Pileggi put me on the cover of New York Magazine. Rayo's Restaurant, I got the first table. And my life really hit on really good things. But one thing about my life is I learned one thing. You could be a tough guy, but it takes more of a man to say I'm sorry if you do something wrong. And that's something, if I punch somebody out, break his jaw or something, if I could say I'm sorry if I didn't want to do it, it takes more of a man to apologize than not apologize.
I agree with you, But I don't think people agree with us anymore. I think they just see apologies as weakness, as an opportunity to exploit somebody. And that's why everybody just holds on to their positions and maybe even doubles down, because there's no upside to doing the right thing anymore.
Yeah, that's happened to me where I apologize, and then the guy takes the apology as weakness.
Yeah.
And I say, hey, then I can go into another.
Yeah, I know that other side of you.
Yeah.
I know the other side.
Hey, I still do my 90 push-ups twice in a row, 3 times a week. I do curls with my machine. I do ab circles, and that's all I do. I don't go to the gym. I do it in my apartment.
Well, if you can do 90 push-ups, I think you can be Secretary of Defense now. Based on that hearing I heard the other day. I think
he
that
does
was
90 push-ups?
That was the last question, was how many push-ups can you do?
Seriously?
That's what he got asked.
Well, how many did he say?
I don't know what he said, but
I don't
that's
think
what
he
they
does
asked him.
90. 90's good.
90's
Good
pretty
ones.
good. That's pretty
yeah.
good.
But you know what, Chris? This is probably one of my most enjoyable podcasts, and I love you to come back anytime. And
I love talking to you. When you called me and said, I haven't had you on, you got to come on. The answer is obviously going to be yes. And part of it is, 99% of it is because you asked me to. The 1% is, I like where I am. I like that I'm building something with NewsNation. I get that it's not where I was before.
Yeah.
But there's a blessing in that. I do only what I want, how I want on NewsNation. I have to be accountable for it. But there's something about being in an insurgent
well, you don't
place.
have to answer to the dickheads up.
Well, listen, they're not dickheads, but I have bosses, and they care about quality, and they care about fairness in a way that I've never seen anything better in terms of how much it matters to them. But building something that is going against what doesn't work at the other outlets matters more to me than a big shiny job. I understand. I had to take a lesson, as you've learned in life. I had to take a lesson. When I got shit canned from CNN, I had a year, and it was very hard, not so much because of on me, but it was time where I was now able to realize what happened with Andrew, what happened to me, what it meant to my family, and how much they had absorbed that I wasn't aware of in the moment, and I felt terrible about it. And I realized that I had to do things differently coming out of it. I had to be there more for them and more sensitive to what they needed and what I was saying and doing meant to them. Mm-hmm. And then I got to do this job in a way where it's not about this career in this club of media. It's just about impact on independent critical thinking people, because they are the salvation for the political system, not the parties. And NewsNation gave me an opportunity to that. My contract came up. I had interest now, but nobody's going to let me do what I do at NewsNation. Nobody's going to let me have a podcast. Nobody's going to let me come on here and say whatever I want to say.
What do you think I'm here for? I love the podcast because I could say what I want, the truth of what it is, and I don't have to suck up to anybody. And if I pay for my podcast. I don't get this for free. I pay every podcast. And you want to know something? I'm happy to pay whatever it is, so I could release what I feel. But it's different. If I would say with ABC or Fox or something like that, I have to watch my P's and Q's. Yeah, I got my podcast, and I say what I want, and that's why I enjoy doing this. This is my vehicle. And if people want to listen to it, they prescribe to it, subscribe to it. If they don't turn me on. Turn me off. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And if someone came to you and said that they don't listen, you'd say you'd smack them in the side of the head.
Wait a second now. Wait a second. You do this every night. When am I going to get you to go up to Rails? They ain't open on the weekend now.
Here's my question for you. I'll ask you this.
Yeah.
Rayo's is an institution, and there is a prestige with going there. I've never been there, and I'll tell you why. My father, who you knew very well, had absolutely no connection to any kind of Cosa Nostra Italian criminal organization. Everybody knows it. George H.W. Bush said to him once at a dinner, supposedly as a compliment, we had a file open on you. We never found anything. Like he was surprised. So to me, I've always stayed away from anything that even is suggestive.
You see, but that's the perception.
Because with Italians, they all think that we're mafiosi.
You know who's coming up there with me? Rob Capito, the president of BlackRock. I have the police commissioner being my guest on Thursday night. Not the police commissioner, the fire commissioner, Tucker, is coming up there Thursday night. I have the most... what's that word?
Cachet?
No.
Sex appeal?
No.
Sweet smelling?
What's it called? Icelic? Come on.
Eclectic.
That friggin' thing. That's why I need you. You got college. Eclectic table.
I got phonics.
I could have what's that guy's name? Leonardo DiCaprio sit with me. Then I'll have this other guy, corporate guy, and then I'll have a friend of mine that I grew up with that is my guest who couldn't afford to eat there, but he'll be at my table. That's Bo's table. I got that table from Frankie back in 1977. Every Thursday, I do charities. Here's the table. This is the big deal. A lot of people don't know. I put that up for bid. It starts at $10,000, 8 people. You still got to pay for your own dinner. The money goes to charity. Last couple of charities, I got $30,000 for the charity. I don't get nothing. You still got to pay for your dinner. And then all of a sudden, I was at Rob Capito's, the president of BlackRock, at his fundraiser, and they auctioned the table of $250,000 for dinner with Rob Capito on my table. I mean, so I raised on that table for charity. Well, this year it's going to be bigger. This year it'll probably be up near $750,000, $800,000 for charities, all kinds of charities.
Oh, different ones.
Every different kids with cancer, blood.
I think that's great.
I can't say. Well, I save money too, so that's like a $2,500 check with the wine this year, and I get the check all the time. So I figure if I give it away 3 times a month for charities, I'll save right there to $7,500 for the month, right? So it's a calculator. Anyway, you can't go to every Thursday the same food every Thursday.
I've never been there.
Well, if you get a day off on a Thursday, you let me know. We'll do it weeks ahead of time. If you're going to go on vacation, you bring your lovely wife up there, and we'll put together a table, and that'll be cool. That would be cool.
You want me to go, I'll go.
Yeah, I mean, and believe me, and that's the perception, again, about Nostra Nostra and all that kind of stuff. Look, the reality is that I know every organized crime figure in the world, and I look upon them like you, and they're my friends. I do nothing with organized crime. When I was put up for the Drug Commission back in 1989 by George Bush, the father, not Fredo, the father, they did a background round robin. John Gotti popped up. I grew up with John Gotti, Joey Scopo, Ralphie Scopo. These are kids I grew up in the neighborhood. Then when I became a cop, Ralph Scopo says, Bo, you can't come up to the club anymore. I said, why? I said, you're like a second father. He goes, you have no clue what we do. And this is factual. And then I felt so hurt, like, because he was like my second father. And when they investigated me, Jim Fox, the late assistant director of the FBI New York office, 1990, we used to go out to dinner with Ray Kelly and his wife Veronica and Jim Fox and all that. And then when I got put up for this commission, they told me that I have to have a round robin. Popped up John Gotti. He writes a letter to the president, to the federal judge. I'll put my reputation, 35 years being assistant director of the FBI. We've vetted Bo. We've investigated. Bo knows everybody. We're not taking that away. You can't take his eyeballs out. He grew up with them, and that's it. But no organized crime involvement. I said, good, I got the job. Then all of a sudden comes out, there's something else. It's Senate confirmation, like, well, watch it. And at that time, I had 2 families, and we'll put it this way, I would make Pete look like he was teasing. And I said to myself, you know what? I don't want to embarrass my families. Do you have an appointment or something, Mr. President? He made me the chairman of the Crime Commission. To this day, I have no idea what it was, but I got an appointment, a presidential appointment, and that was it. Because sometimes you have to realize, you know, your ego has to back off a little bit. Because I knew there would be embarrassment to my family, and I don't want embarrassment to my family. Again, Chris, you come up with your wife whenever you get clear, and anything you ever need. You know, you call me. I'm saying even with the kids or anything I go, I'm there. Bo's a phone call away, and I'm really, really happy that you are really a good friend of mine. And send my love to your brother. I'm sure I'll be talking to him, but send my love to your brother. And hey, look he loves this city. You love this city. Your family loves this city. Your family's here. My family's here. We got to save this city, and that's it. And I really thank you for coming on board, Chris.
I believe there are better days ahead, and I am proud to call you a friend.
Me too.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. And that's our friend Chris Cuomo. And you guys, News Nation, I'm going to start watching every night, 9 o'clock?
8 o'clock.
Like I said, every night, 8 o'clock, News Nation, Chris Cuomo.